Hey everybody, I'm Steve Shellman, the founder of Prop Juice. I thought I'd walk you through the Thursday night football preview. So let's go to the game here. Our top dog actually is Arizona. They were favored, now they're not favored. They got a lot of injuries, so they are a dog, and I do think they're a dog in terms of the models, um, just because of the injuries. So let me kind of get into here, go into this game. So we have the Cardinals covering, and we have the Cardinals money line. But there's lots of injuries in this game. So James Conner's out. You got Benson stepping in. He's not been all that great. Everybody's taken his under that I've seen, expert wise. I think that's hard to figure out because he hasn't played as a starter yet. So yeah, there's some difficulties there. Um, and then Seattle is getting two of their secondary players back today, so they're coming off injury and they're gonna play. So, in terms of the injury battle, it favors the Seahawks with a 1 point game like this. Um, I'm personally favoring the Seahawks. The models are favoring the Cardinals, and you know what that's done to us in the past. So, take the Cardinals plus some points, take the Seahawks plus some points. You might play with the spread predictor a little bit. I mean, let's say you could take it's a field goal game, so let's do a 2.5. Let's do a minus 2.5. Again, this is for the Cardinals, so it's a 64% probability that they actually go in. Plus a field goal. So if we did plus, this is more like plus 3.5 because we're doing an over on a minus 3.5, right? So if we did Cardinals plus 3.5, even though this says minus 3.5, we're talking about taking the over. So plus 3.5, that's a 67% probability of cashing. On the flip side, if you take the under on a field goal with minus 2.5, or you take plus 2.5 on the Seahawks, that's a 56% probability of cashing. Sorry, minus 2.5 on the Seahawks. You got to flip these signs when you're doing the under over here. So it kind of makes sense to take this 3.5. Again, it's based off the models, which are kind of favoring the Cardinals anyway. But if you took it over 3.5, that gives you a 67% probability that it's going to be over minus 3.5, or over plus 3.5 for the Cardinals. So that might be a pretty safe bet. Plus a field goal instead of the 1.5. I mean, the 1.5 is showing 60%. So you gain by coming back to 3.5. Almost 67. You gain 7% basically. Yeah, you gain 7% by making it a field goal game over a 1.5 game. So you can play with that if you want to. In terms of the totals, let's go back to the totals. I don't really have any totals. Um, there we go. I had to clear it. Okay, so we'll go into the totals here. We've got an over game. The rush defense is pretty good on both teams if you look at various statistics. So the Seahawks are giving up 90 and getting 90, and the Cards are only giving up 76 rushing yards. So Kenneth Walker might take his under, in terms of the rushing yards, in terms of the Arizona defense. But only 90 yards in terms of Seahawks. That's still pretty ranked pretty well, and PFF's actually got them ranked higher than that. By the way they calculate defensive rank on rushing, and they're both actually right next to each other, Arizona and the Seahawks. So, given that Connor's not starting, that Benson under looks good. So maybe that's why the experts are taking the Benson under, not just because you can't calculate it, but because the rushing defense of the Vikings is pretty good. So I don't know how that sets us up for our totals, but it probably sets us up for more of a passing game. Darnold's got passing. We were predicting him for over 2 touchdowns, probably over 200 yards. So that sets up, an over perhaps. If you want to, drop this down to 40 points, like a 2017 game, like a 37-point game, that's 76% probability. If it's like more like 21-20. It's a 41-point game. That's a 70% probability. So you can take this down in over 40, over 37, somewhere in here, and gain a probability. You could then take that and parlay it with maybe a plus 3.5 for either the Seahawks or the Cardinals if you wanted to kind of hedge in terms of the money line, in terms of who wins this game, because we've got spreads on both sides of the line, right? Um, so yeah, that kind of gives you the game. If you look down here at the table, we're expecting, like a 24-23 game, or a 28-23 game, 27-24, 25-23. Again, all of our spreads and our model prediction or our point estimates favor the Seahawks over the Cardinals. But this is what, 2 points, 2 points. This is 5 points, 1 point, and the market's 1.5. I wanted to look at these specific spreads. You don't get points over here, but you get specific spreads here. So you got Cardinals within 1 or 2, Cardinals within plus 3.5 right here in terms of this spread. So that's probably the most points you want to add to the Cardinals. Although you got this, then I would be, if you're going to take +5, I would just go ahead and take. I would just go ahead and take the Seahawks, right? You know, money line. Yeah. So anyway, just analysis down here. You can look at these point totals and look at back and forth. In terms of props, we can look at the passing props first. Look at yards. So again, Darnold under 226, Kyler Murray over 211. So we got him just a 54%. If you dial this back down to like 200 or 190, 190 is around 67. 200 is around 61%. So you could take over 200, where you could take the full 211. It's a 53% probability. And then, if you're going to make a straight bet. And then in terms of Darnold, if you're making a straight bet, take the under. But if you're going to put him on a parlay, maybe take over 200. Because he's got like a 65% probability to go over 190. And then to go over 200, he's got about a 58% probability. Let's look at receiving yards. Okay, Trey McBride, push. So you could take maybe 4 or 5 receptions for Trey McBride. So if you dial him back to over 5.5, he's got 60%, and over 5 catches is 72%. You've got Kenneth Walker. You got Horton. He's might get 2.5 receptions. He's scored a touchdown in each game for the Seahawks this year. You got let's see. This is Benson. So he normally gets the third down back. He's normally the third down back. So I have him over 15 in a parlay. But he's not expected to get that. So, but I think that he's going to get some dump offs tonight because he's going to be playing, he's going to be playing a little bit more than he normally is with Connor. So I don't know. You can take the chance on this or not. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's supposed to have a pretty good game tonight. He's had some pretty good games. If you want to look at his trends here, so for the last 3 games, he's been over, and then he was under and under in terms of the yards, in terms of his line, but he's right on that line last game, and he dropped a big ball. So if he doesn't drop any passes tonight, he should be back up again. So I got him in on an alt line of like around 40. This was his lowest number, 27. And then, I wanted to look at Cooper Kupp and Smith and Jigba. So Jackson Smith and Jigba is the number 1. So he'll probably have over 5.5, 6 receptions. And then if you look at his receiving yards, he's slated to go over 85. Again, if you dial this back to 80 or dial this back to 70, he's got a 66% probability to go over. And then you've got Cooper Kupp. He's supposed to go over a little bit. I got him down on an alt line of 40. Either got him at 40 or 25, really, are the only options. And then, who else we got in here? Trey Benson, Smith and Jigba, Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I think we've covered all the big ones. Defense, if you want to look at sacks, it looks like Josh Sweat for the Cardinals could get a sack tonight. So he's slated over half sack at 54%, and so is Byron Murphy. He's actually got a pretty good probability. He's gotten 2 sacks the last game. If we take the snaps off, he's gotten a sack in each game. Same with Josh Sweat. I didn't look at his trends, but if we take snaps off, he's had a sack in each of the last 2 games as well. None in the first game of the season, but a sack in each of the last 2. And then I guess Leonard Williams is also slated for a sack. He's had a sack. He's had a half sack in each of the last games. So he shared a sack with somebody else in each of the last games. So those are good possibilities if you want to bet those. I kind of put that with a touchdown parlay, like a sack and a touchdown, a couple touchdowns. So you can kind of look at that. In terms of touchdowns, we do have our touchdown predictor that's behind the scenes right now. Hopefully we're going to get this in for the weekend. It might not get in, but if it does, you'll see new touchdown props up here. We don't have it in for tonight's game, but the two biggest ones we have are Horton is high because he scored a touchdown both last games. And also Walker the third is high. I've got him on a couple parlays. And then Smith and Jigba's high, but like more like 0.4 something. Walker's more like 0.6 something. So those are kind of your big 3. I know that Brian Reinert on Man vs. Machine today chose Cooper Kupp for his touchdown of the game, and he hasn't had a touchdown in the first 2 games. So that's kind of long shot good. I mean, they might be trying to get him a touchdown tonight because he hasn't had a touchdown yet. So I think that's a pretty good pick as well. So anyway, I think that kind of covers the preview. We do have parlays up on the site. I'm not going to go over them all because I don't want to show them to everybody in the world. But they are up, and you can choose those. Again, these are more like $10 parlays, especially high risk. Maybe the lower risk you can put 25 on or 50 max. But the other parlays, the 2100, the 1500s, and those are more like $10 to $25 parlays. That's how I think about them anyway. So that if you lose, all 5 of them, you've lost $50 on $10 parlays. So keep that in mind. Good luck tonight. I hope we get touchdown parlays. I hope our sacks come through. And I hope some of these guys hit their lines. Thanks.